Hello, it's me again. Apologies. This is another politics thing. So if that's not your cup of tea, sorry. Maybe I'll do something else soon. Who knows? But then again, like if you're an apolitical person, somebody who's not really interested in politics, odds are this channel's not going to be for you. Especially these next 4 years. And yeah, odds are also if you're happy about the results of this election, if you're excited, if you're super stoked, this as a person, I'm probably not for you. So yeah, take that how you will. I look forward to seeing all the pro-Trump comments and blocking your asses. But nonetheless, I want to talk a little bit about the results of this election. And this isn't gonna be me trying to do like MSNBC and all these other commentators that are like, "Yep, I was right the whole time." Really, when you think about it, when I was wrong that time, I was actually right because if you look at what I said and then you ignore it, I would have been right. It's kind of exhausting, I'll be honest. And in a way, I get it because I am also looking for answers. I'll be frank. I see myself as somebody who is pretty interested in politics, pretty invested. I pay a lot of attention, not just during elections, but in between elections. I've always kind of been that way. It's part of the reason why I have radicalized so much in the past 8 years. It's thanks in large part to just this ongoing interest, this ongoing curiosity about just policy and the world of politics and why things are the way they are in America. Um, so yeah, I guess this is gonna be my election post mortem, and I'm not here to like belabor or be mad at specific voters, like the people who stayed home, the people who voted third party. I don't really think that matters. Like, don't get me wrong, maybe if more people had turned out, there could have been a Harris victory, but it really doesn't seem like election turnout was the problem. And I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of people already blaming like progressives and leftists and saying like, oh, it's because of Israel Palestine, and that's the reason why Harris lost. If only these dumb leftists had realized that you have to kill Arabs, you have to kill Palestinians because they've got gross genes. You got to get rid of them. It's got to be done. And frankly, I just I don't even believe that that had that much effect on the election. Part of the reason why I was uh, kind of slightly optimistic about a Harris victory was the fact that I knew that most Americans don't give a shit about foreign policy. Most Americans don't really care about foreign policy one way or the other. It's the same reason why I don't think that if Harris had like had a pro-Palestinian platform, if she had like elevated Palestinian voices, if they'd allowed a speaker at the DNC, I think it would have been better politics. I just don't. I mean, obviously, I don't think it would lead too much in the way of policy because we're not seeing a shift in the Harris-Biden administration. We're not seeing any kind of like push for a ceasefire. We're not seeing any arms embargo. I don't think they give a shit, and I don't think that would have changed anything. But that being said, I think if she had said like diverted from Biden, maybe it could have gained some support. Maybe it could have gained like some support within like the progressive base. But I think at the end of the day, I'm not convinced that the progressive base is there in the same way that it was in 2020 and in 2016. I think that you can like maybe blame progressives who were upset about Bernie not being the nominee in 2016 for Clinton's loss, but I think there's a lot more blame to be had in the fact that Clinton was a deeply unpopular person. We had the former Clinton administration. They'd both become very unpopular at that point, and I'm not surprised. I was not surprised at all that she lost that election. A lot of people, she had a bunch of conspiracy theories around her, and then she had a bunch of legitimate things that people were angry about. It was just a bad deal all around, and it further betrays how out of touch the Democratic Party is. That being said, I mean, like initially, I guess I don't want to come off like I know a ton about why this happened. Like I'm still kind of in my analysis mode. These kind of situations always make me very curious, and so I end up spending a lot of time trying to figure out answers. And at this point, that's very annoying because everybody everybody on TV, all the commentators that I normally listen to, all have very matter of fact opinions about, oh yeah, this is definitely the reason why this happened. And yeah, a lot of folks who are kind of in my camp, in my kind of viewpoint, blame this on Harris not appealing to the base, on her not appealing to progressives. And like I said, I guess I'm not convinced that that progressive caucus is still there. Obviously, in the past 4 years, you can look and just see how the left wing media landscape has kind of fallen apart between like infighting, between like differences of opinion. I think you got a lot of especially more liberal streamers are trying to run damage control for the Democratic Party in hopes that they kind of gain some kind of mainstream attention. I think that's a bad idea personally. I think part of the appeal with the progressive part or the progressive movement, we don't really have a progressive party, is the fact that we're kind of outside of that whole world. But I get it. I get the appeal of getting some mainstream attention. I get the appeal of wanting to be seen as like not just a Twitch streamer, but somebody who is paid attention to by the Democratic Party and listened to and seen as like an authority on stuff in the same way that like the Pod Save America guys are. I don't know. It's just a frustrating situation to see. And I think like if you haven't heard of it, MAGA communism is a great movement to look up because those guys are fucking crazy. Those guys are fucking wild, dude. But like that is what happens when you have a group that you know feels betrayed uh, by the party that they were going to vote for. Um, but clearly, it also betrays the fact that a lot of these Bernie supporters weren't really left wing. They just liked his platform because let's be honest, both Bernie and Trump uh, were running populist campaigns. And populist campaigns are really popular because that's why they work that way. They appeal to just normal people in a way that a lot of politics these days do not. I think that's why, like, Ron DeSantis didn't do very well because he micro focused on like this whole like oh, we need to ban books, we need to get rid of the gays, and I think that a lot of people, maybe in Florida that fucking works, with all those old farts retiring from New York. Apparently they like that shit. But I think that nationwide, that kind of stuff, it doesn't really appeal to very many people. I don't think that normal people really give a shit that much. I don't think that people are, pro LGBTQ in the same numbers as we like to hope. I think that there's a lot of inherent transphobia. I think there's a lot of inherent racism that people don't realize is there. But at the end of the day, people can overlook that stuff. People can overlook that stuff with a little bit of populism sprinkled in there. Now, does that mean that I think Harris should have run like a populist campaign? I don't know. I don't even think it could have worked because I think that people kind of don't believe it anymore. And I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I am just trying to process this reality right now. I am just trying to understand how we got here. I'm trying to understand what situation we're in, and I guess in my own way, I'm trying to figure out like where do we go from here. And I think a lot of folks that I'm friends with online feel the same way. So I want to offer a little bit of, I don't know. I don't know if to call it hope or copium. Probably copium. We're doing copium today. That being said, A lot of folks are feeling some very strong feelings, and I think that is perfectly valid. I think it is perfectly valid, especially if you are a trans person, if you are a woman, if you are a person of color, if you are an immigrant, especially. Like, my God, the fact that one of the first items on the agenda is to implement this kind of same mass deportation that we saw during, like, the 2017 through 2020 era. Um, yeah, that's scary for a lot of people, and I can't even imagine the kind of emotions that those people are going through. I mean, my anxiety's off the charts, and that's almost purely from like the uncertainty of what this means for both a lot of people in America and for what it means for like foreign policy stuff. Like Ukraine, I was more concerned initially, but Zelensky seems to be pretty stoked about Trump's win. So apparently he's not too worried for whatever reason. He seems to think that he can work with that. So maybe Trump's initial thought of like, let Putin have all of Ukraine. Maybe that's not going to be. Maybe he's going to be like, Ukraine keeps what they've got, what they've gained in the war, and everyone goes home. Maybe he thinks he's going to somehow work with that. And I imagine that Putin will probably play ball with Trump because he likes Trump, because Trump will kowtow to whatever he wants. However, when it comes to like Palestinian lives, I think that that situation is about to get a lot more dire. It already is kind of starting. If you're not paying attention to that, I encourage you to pay attention and look into that. I have learned a ton over the past year about the history of that. I don't even want to call it a conflict. It's a straight up fucking ethnic cleansing. It's a straight up genocide. I have no qualms with calling Israel an apartheid state. I have no qualms in saying that like the Democratic Party is missing when it comes to having some kind of counter narrative to this, and I can only hope that eventually people start to recognize this situation for what it is. Um, that being said, we already know Trump's position on this. We already know what he did in his first presidency, annexing more of Palestine to the point where like people talk about a two-state solution. Where the fuck is this other state gonna be? It's absolutely horrendous. It's fucking terrifying, and like I come I come at this from a place of insane privilege, and I recognize that. And it is for that reason that I believe that I have to be more active. I have to be more more counteractive in like trying to counter the narrative that the conservative movement has been free to do for the past 8 years. Uh, clearly, whatever is happening right now isn't working. And a lot of that, let's be frank, is just that America is founded in like white supremacy. And white supremacy, for those of you freaking out, being like, "You're calling me a racist just because I voted for Trump," calm the fuck down. Just calm down, dude. Just calm down. That's not how white supremacy works. Learn more. Learn more is all I can say. I don't want to. I'll get into it later. You know what? I'll do something later at some point, or better yet, check out Innuendo Studios. He's done a couple great videos. I believe he did two different EndNote videos, one on the origins of conservatism, which is a great watch for right now to kind of understand why Trump gets the kind of support that he does. And the other is shoot, I'm trying to remember white conservatives or white nationalism. It's called something like that. I'll put links in the description, I guess, if you want to check that out to learn more. That being said, like recognizing that America is not a progressive nation, recognizing that there is really not a left wing party in America is insanely important in understanding what has happened over the past few decades. And it's especially important in understanding why Harris lost, why Biden almost lost, and why these next 4 years are going to be what they are. Um, and I guess my when I say that I am getting involved, I don't know what that means, and I wish I did, because it terrifies me to feel like I have no power, and I felt like that for years. I have felt like there was nothing I could do to, influence anything in any direction. All I could do is like hope that we push to a more progressive world, that we push to a more equitable world, and clearly that's not fucking happening. Um, that being said, I wanna offer a final kind of thought to those of you who are. I've seen a lot of folks who are scared, who are thinking of like changing their plans, and I just want to say, if you are a trans person debating on whether or not to come out of the closet, just fucking do it. I know that coming from me, that probably sounds disingenuous, and like I do not understand that struggle. I don't. I can't imagine what you're going through right now. But I just want you to know, if you're looking to come out of the closet, if you're looking to start a family and you're afraid of what like Trump's abortion policy is going to look like how that is going to affect, in the event of like complications, whether due to miscarriages or ectopic pregnancies or with the number of other things that can go wrong that might require some kind of abortion access. I just want you to know you need to live your life. And obviously, you should take precautions. You should take whatever precautions you need to. And maybe that sounds counterproductive. Maybe that sounds counterintuitive. Like I'm saying that you should live your life, but also not live your life. And I know, but I want you to know that your life matters more. Living your life matters more than like worrying about whether or not the American politics is going to support you. It's not going to, because America is a white supremacist nation, and at the end of the day, you people living their authentic lives matters so much more than whether or not than getting the government to freaking support your decisions and your ability to live your life the way you want to live it. So just do that. Just remember, just whatever you do, don't give up on your life. Don't give up on who you are. uh, be your authentic self, because you're freaking awesome, man. You're freaking cool. You deserve it. If you're coming out of the closet, if you're looking to start a family, if you whatever else. I will say, like, if you're an immigrant, maybe avoid, like, maybe if you are in America, I guess I hope that you are surrounded by a community that will support you, that will protect you, and that is willing to go the distance in preserving your life and your family's life. Yeah, and those of you who are like me, thank you, I guess, for fighting. Thank you for, you know, working for a better world. I can only hope that we have a shot at creating a better world. Um, anyway, I guess that's all I have. I will be back with a vengeance and a fury. I'm sure at some point. I'm very tired. I'm very exhausted from this whole year. Um, and yeah, I'm going to be looking into ways that I can offer some small forms of help, to folks who are going to be struggling in times like this. And so, if anybody has any suggestions, let me know. I love you all. Love yourselves. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.